Big O, I apologize. I apologize. What's up, you all? Come in, join in, jump in. Are y'all ready for this today? I apologize that I got on a little bit later than I initially scheduled. I have not been live on TikTok in forever, and I was having all type of issues. You would think I worked for the military and needed some type of, what's that access called that the military has? The hoops I had to jump through in order to get back into TikTok because I haven't been live over there. Weird. Thank you on Big O. So let me. All right. So today we're talking about spiritual abuse, you all. Let me know where you're joining in from. Yes, I am a new host. I am new to Big O, trying to figure things out. Yes, I am new. Make sure you're following me. Okay. And I have TikTok up, but my screen, my notes are going to cover the TikTok screen. So there's that. Now we know that all leaders are not sent from God. All right. Some leaders are sent to control you, to manipulate you, and to profit off your pain. Today we're going to talk about how to spot spiritual abuse within the church. Okay. And we're not just talking about the Black church. So buckle on tight. Okay. Hopefully I'm going to help you before they destroy your faith altogether. That is the prayer. Okay. I didn't realize I was in a spiritual cult until after I left. If I'm being honest, can I just move this chat box out the way? I didn't realize until after I left. When I came to the church I grew up in, I was 6.5 years old. And big ol' y'all be having all the things going on. I was 6.5. When I left, I think I was like 25. But I really didn't realize until after I left that it was a cult, even though there were so many people who told me, who said it, who were talking about it. I couldn't see it while I was a part of it, even though my dad, before he died, my dad was, no, I was 12 when my dad died. Even he told my mama, something ain't right about that pastor. And let me tell you something about men, ladies, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. A lot of times, men are able to pick up on things that we cannot discern. Okay? So my dad told my mom something ain't right about that pastor. Again, I didn't see it until after I left. I remember one guy that I was talking to since like high school. He found out I left. He was like, I cannot believe. He was like, he called the name of the church. He was like, I can't believe you left. He was like, I cannot believe. I'm so happy that you finally left that church. So a lot of people, we don't know that we're a part of a cult. We don't realize it. We're under so much religious witchcraft. We don't even realize what's going on until after we leave. Let me know that y'all can hear me good in the comments, okay? I did not know my big old phone. I did not know that phone needed to be charged like that. So hopefully it doesn't go out. So by the end of this live, you're going to be able to spot the signs of toxic leadership, protect protect your. I'm sorry, I got a big old. Hold on. Do not disturb. You're going to be able to identify toxic leadership, protect your faith, and walk in freedom. Okay. If you're just joining, welcome in. My name is Renisha. I'm an inner healing coach. I help high achieving women who look flawless on the outside, but are crumbling on the inside by find their peace, clarity, and emotional freedom. Today, we're going to talk about how to spot spiritual abuse in church leadership. I'm trying to go with these themes, like weekly themes. So all this week, I'm going to be linking trauma and religious abuse. You can call it religious abuse, spiritual abuse, whatever. That's what we're going to be focusing on all this week. Okay, grab your notebooks unless you're at work and you're not supposed to be watching me, or you're driving. Please do not try to write and drive. I'm going to be breaking down warning signs that you can look for if you are currently in a church and you're wondering if it's spiritually abusive, or if you recently left the church and you're wondering, is this abuse? Am I tripping? People are trying to say I'm crazy and I'm just rebellious. Am I just in my head, Renisha? I'm going to let you know. You'll know by the end of this, okay? And then make sure you stick around to the end. I'm going to give you all, I was trying to figure out how I can reward the people that stay on my live. So I have a gift for those that stay and actually engage at the end. Okay. Let's jump right into it. I hope you all are ready. I really hope you are ready because I may be calling out your church. I'm calling out your organization. I don't know how those bows got on my head on Big O. I did not do that, and I don't know how to take them off. Big O. So I'm just sitting here with two bows on my head. I guess I have to be okay with that. Here are the 5 warning signs of spiritual abuse. Take notes, write these down. I'm going to give y'all a minute. These are 5 warning signs. We're about to jump into it. Buckle your seatbelts. Sign number 1, you're dealing with excessive control. Your leader, your pastor, they are excessively controlling. Okay. These leaders, they want to dictate every area of your life. They want to control who you date, who you marry, what you wear, where you live, where you drive, what you drive, where you drive, what you drive, where you go on vacation, all of this. And if you think this is too extra, I'm telling you, someone told me about I'm getting in trouble early, about a pastor who I know. They wanted a certain type of look, so they made everyone in there go get a brand new car. I'm just trying to figure out how you gonna make an adult. You don't control my finances. You're not paying my car note. But they have so much control that it doesn't matter if they could afford it or not. They all went and got brand new cars because the pastor told them to. Okay? So some of them are that controlling. Control is disguised as covering when you're talking about spiritual abuse. Okay. This is a form of authoritarian leadership. It removes the personal agency and creates dependency on the leader and the leader alone. They want you to depend on them. All right. Because of this, you start to believe in your mind that you can't make decisions without talking to your pastor first. Thank you for the likes and the tapping and on YouTube. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Okay. So because of this control, even though you are a grown man, even though you are a grown woman, and we see it mostly amongst women, if we just be real, when it comes to the church and those being controlled like this, we see it most amongst women because a lot of men, they just not about to deal with foolishness. Okay. They have you thinking that you cannot make any decision without I have to go to the pastor. I have to go ask their permission. All right. So in the case of women, like I say, you see it mostly in women. The woman, you're not allowed to move jobs, move to a different city or state. You can't change churches without getting permission first. You're not allowed to wear makeup, pants, jewelry, etc. Although a lot of times that same leader that is super strict and trying to control you, they're trying to get up your skirt. Maybe that's why they don't want y'all to wear pants because it's easier access. I don't know. I have stories that I shared in my class. Okay. Y'all see me now? Earrings, lipstick. They would call me Jezebel. Tattoos, and I'm not telling anybody to copy me. I'm not telling anybody to do. I'm not telling y'all that, but I'm just saying. Looking at me right now, they would say, "Oh, you're on the way to hell. You're a Jezebel. You're trying to tempt the man." No matter what the man has said to me, no matter what the pastor has said to me, baby, some of us, the church we grew up in, we used to look like somebody's grandma. Young teenagers looking like a grandma. That don't even make sense. Okay. And what's so insane is the church I grew up in. So we were taught, thank you, Marty. Thank you for the roses and the hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tap the screen on Big O, please. What's so crazy is that the church I grew up in, we were taught that pants were a sin. But the same pastor that taught pants were a sin, he said that it was okay if you had to wear pants to work. But I was confused because I'm a thinker, right? And I'm like, well, y'all told us pants You say pants is a sin, and y'all always preaching on hell, and you're always preaching on the rapture. But you're saying we can wear pants to work if our job requires it. It doesn't make sense. So if Jesus come back, we don't know when he come back, and we supposed to be caught up to meet him. Is he going to excuse the sin of wearing pants because our job told us to sin? Like that's the type of stuff I ask. Okay, I'm a thinker, so it didn't make sense. You have to understand that healthy leaders are going to guide you. They're not going to govern you. Not a healthy leader. When we talk about coverings, your covering should pray for you. They should support you. They should not be your dictator. Okay? And I don't know what kind of responses I'm going to get to these lives this week because I've had people reach out to me in private, people that are older than me. I've talked about the woman at the church I grew up in. She's old enough to be my mother, trying to see if she's old enough to be my grandma, mother for sure. And she reached out to me. That's when I had Facebook, and she was like, don't tell anybody that I'm reaching out to you, but your post just blessed me. I'm like, this is sad. You a whole grandma. At this point, I think she's a great grandma, and you're under this much control. Like, Regina, I just saw your comment. Listen. Okay, so Regina, well, at least they were consistent with you, baby. Because I had the chat down, I didn't see it. Let me move it over so I can see my notes and the chat. At least they were consistent in your church, Regina. In the church I grew up in, they told us it was a sin, but we could wear them to church. I mean, we could wear them to work if the job required it. So I'm like, oh, well, so if Jesus come back while we're at work, he just going to excuse our sin. It didn't make sense. All right, so now I have it up on the side so I can see my notes and see TikTok. Okay, so that's number one. Sign number one, excessive control. Sign number two, I'm giving you 5 signs, 5 warning signs that you're dealing with spiritual abuse in your church. Sign number 2, there is fear-based teaching, okay? Ooh, y'all, hold on. I caught a cramp in my leg. Sign number 2, there's fear-based teaching. So the leadership, they use hell, curses, or God's judgment to keep people in submission to them, not to God, to keep you in submission to them. They preach about hell all the time. They try to curse you if you try to leave. They tell you about God's judgment. The church I grew up in, he made God seem like this man that was just sitting on the throne, and all he did all day was wait to cast people into hell. Yeah, absolutely, Regina. That's all he did. So these types of leaders, when you leave, they'll tell you if you leave this church, your life is going to fall apart. You're going to be cursed. You're going to die. Your children are going to be cursed. You're rebellious. That's the devil talking to you and telling you to leave. This is what they tell you, but this is all spiritual manipulation. Okay? It's spiritual manipulation. So what happens is fear ends up rewiring your brain. Exactly. Fear ends up rewiring your brain because you sit here and you take all of this in, even if you're an adult. So now you're starting to accept the dysfunction. You've normalized it. And now your body is in a constant cycle of stress. A constant cycle of stress. When I was in this church, I was always on the edge. Mind you, I was 6.5 when we went. So I'm talking about growing up, preteen, teenager, young adult, always on the edge, always repenting. Okay, because I really love God, but all I constantly heard was stuff about hell and the devil and fire and brimstone. And I just got to a point where I wasn't even serving God anymore because I loved him. I was serving him because I was scared to go to hell. And a lot of you won't admit that, but that's your truth as well. I remember long after I left, I was talking to a first lady, and I was like, I asked a question. I was like, do you think there was ever a time when da 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 da? Listen, people talk about having PTSD from the church. They joke about that. But for some of us, that's a real thing. You should not be serving God because you're afraid to go to hell. What if there was no hell? There is, but what if there wasn't? Would you still love them? Would you still serve them? Would you still try to obey? Okay. So many leaders, they condition their people to associate God's voice with their voice. That's how I grew up. Thank you, Regina. Honey, I'm here to help people get free. I'm glad I was bold enough to walk away, baby. And when I left, a lot of other young people left, and I was to blame, even though I was not telling them to leave. I can't help it if I'm a leader. Okay. So I need y'all to write this down. Those of you that are taking notes, write this down. My pastor is not my God. Write that down. Your pastor is not God. I don't care how they try to condition you and train you and make you think that their voice and God's voice is the same. It is not. It's not. Okay. And some of you, you're even disobeying God because you're afraid of your leader. That came to me when I was doing my notes today. Some of you are disobeying God because you're scared of your leader. Also, write this down. Godly teaching draws people into freedom. Godly teaching. It draws people into freedom. Fear-based teaching pushes people deeper into bondage. So think about it. The sermons, the teachings, the Bible studies at your church or the church you used to go to, did it draw you into freedom or did it draw you into fear and more bondage? Did it scare you? Did you have anxiety after leaving the church, after leaving the service? Okay. Let's go to sign number 3. Sign number 3 is isolation from community. If you're just jumping on, I'm giving you 5 signs that you're dealing with spiritual abuse. All right. Sign number 3, isolation from community. So leaders like this, they want to cut you off from family members, from friends. They don't want you visiting other ministries, they don't want you visiting other ministries. They don't want you in contact with anybody who might question the control they have over you. They want to isolate you. Does that sound familiar? Those that have dealt with this, they make it seem like anybody who's not a part of your church, if they're not a part of your local church, they're evil, they're going to hell. You don't need to communicate with them. You don't need to vacation with them. You know what? You probably don't need to go to your family reunion. And I know some of you are like, this is extreme, Renisha. This is true. I'm telling y'all what I lived. Okay. Not just what I've heard from people. I've met a lot of people that come and talk to me about this stuff, but I'm telling y'all what I lived. So they want to isolate you from community. And that's going to keep you dependent on them. That's what they want. The more dependent you are on them, the more they can control you. Doesn't that sound like an abusive relationship? But y'all are afraid to call it what it is because it's the pastor and the church. That's why you're still bound. That's why you're a grown man, a grown woman who's afraid to take my class that I taught back in the summer. But okay, shut up, Renisha. I don't want anybody to think I'm picking on them, so I'm not going to go there. All right. And this, again, this is not just a Black Pentecostal thing. Okay. Cults use isolation universally. I'm not seeing any comments on YouTube. So if y'all are commenting, I just can't see it. Okay. But thank you for engaging. Cults use isolation universally. So with the Catholic Church, priests tend to move children away from their parents. Okay. In the Mormon Church, they like to separate families to maintain the loyalty. In the Pentecostal and Muslim sects, they like to isolate women from their support systems. And I want you all to Google the 12 tribe cult. If you've never heard of that cult, Google it. This is something that popped up on my feed in TikTok maybe a month or two ago. Look up the 12 tribe cult. It's like they have little cafes or coffee shops in different states, and people talk about how good their food is, how it's homemade and you can taste the difference. But then they found out this place is an actual cult. So I started doing research and I found one of the ladies, she's Caucasian. She left. She was in the cult for 14 years before she left. And I went down a whole rabbit hole on her page. Okay. She tells the whole story. So once again, this is not just a Black Pentecostal thing. Okay? I'm telling you, it's universal. Write this down. Those of you that are able to take notes. If not, you can come back to the replay on YouTube later. Write it down. Isolation is a hallmark of cults across cultures. And TikTok, if I go out because I'm saying that word, YouTube, y'all gonna have to come over to YouTube and watch me because I'm not fooling up with TikTok. Write that down. Isolation is a hallmark of cults across cultures. So real shepherds, they're going to push you towards community. If you have a healthy shepherd, they're going to encourage you to have community outside of them, period. Okay? Sign number four, that you're dealing with spiritual abuse in your church, exploitation. And some of these words I may not be able to say because I'm trying not to get bananaed, okay? So exploitation, some leaders, they use their role, their position of power to exploit their members sexually, financially, or emotionally. So some of them, they'll take all your money while telling you money is evil and you don't need it. Who was that man that was recently in the news? That bishop, prophet, pastor, false prophet, whatever. All these millions, and then was barely paying the people for working in his call center. He got the women taking plan Bs. Come on, y'all. They'll be out here living their best life while telling you you don't need money because it's evil. Okay? Now, granted, I believe in paying tithes, sowing, offerings. I believe in all that. So let's not get it twisted. But God loves a cheerful giver. God doesn't even force you to give. Okay? So these leaders also, some of them, they try to, and it can be male or female, they'll try to convince men and women to sleep with them. So they'll tell you, you're my spiritual wife. You're my spiritual husband. God showed me, blah, blah, blah. And somehow they're able to convince you that this is holy and this is what God wants. It doesn't matter if they have a wife and kids. It don't matter if they have a husband and kids. Again, this is real life stuff. This is not stuff I pull out a thin air. Okay? It doesn't matter. They'll still convince you that you're my wife, you're my husband. And then they have a way of getting in your head and you start believing it. So then they turn around and frame this abuse as an assignment. This is an assignment from God. This is a prophetic act. You're sacrificing to God, right? In reality, this is not covenant. It's idolatry and it's manipulation. And what some of you all don't realize is how deep sex is, right? Sex is deeply spiritual. So when a leader is in rebellion or tied to false gods and spirits, these sexual acts that they have you commit, baby, these are offerings to the spirits. It's not happenstance that you see a lot of pastors, prophets, whatever, in the news and in scandals, these sex scandals. Y'all think, oh, they just have a lust issue. Oh, these people are making sacrifices to their gods. And some of you all don't want to believe it. You're too blind. No, not this one. This is America's pastor. Okay. Calm down, Renisha, before you get in trouble. You all don't realize it's more than lust. These are offerings they are making to their idols. Quanda, thank you for commenting. Now I can see that the comments are working over there. Okay. So people, they get in your head so you think you're obeying God, but you're actually being used to feed a demonic appetite. And you don't even realize that. I told you this was going to be heavy, right, Regina? I told y'all this was going to be heavy. I told y'all at the beginning. So this is why a lot of victims, they feel a deep, unusual oppression after these encounters. This is why a lot of these women, they get on here, and some men too. I'm going to talk about men, the men that get abused too. But that's why a lot of them, they get on and they share these screenshots and they sharing all these stories online. And you're like, girl, how can you be this stupid? But you all don't realize This wasn't abuse that happened overnight. They were programmed. And then when you have sex with somebody, then this is a whole nother covenant. And then it's a sacrifice to the God. So it's a lot. Okay. So stop victim shaming. Even though some of them, I'm like, I've said it too, like, how in the world? All right. So I've seen men and women, okay, men and women be told that they're the pastor's chosen spouse, their spiritual wife, spiritual husband, and they have to give their body and as an anointing. Absolutely. Regina, I said that recently. I just separated my pages on TikTok, but I recently said that the church groomed many people to take abuse and they don't even realize it. All right. So this is not God, y'all. This is exploitation. This is really spiritual trafficking that's happening inside of the church. And hopefully I won't get shut down for saying that, but that's what it is. Okay. Healthy leaders are not going to ask for your body or your bed. Someone sent me a reel today. I haven't watched it yet, but someone sent me a reel today about some prophet, which I don't know how in the world y'all took this man seriously anyway. I don't see how anybody takes him seriously, but I guess he asked for another man's wife. I haven't watched the reel, but I saw the title. Okay, so any leader who wants you to smash them as a part of your assignment, they're in sin. Thank you for tapping the screen on TikTok. They're in sin. Okay. This isn't covenant, it's abused and it's dressed up as sacrifice. So I need y'all to remember demanding any type of sacrificial offering or pressuring women or men, because they do it to the men too. Y'all just don't be paying those men attention. Y'all like to brush those men off, but they do it to men too, right? When they try to pressure you for private counseling and it becomes abusive, that's another sign. Okay. They'll tell you, when people tell you, okay, well, in order for God to speak to you or in order for me to pray for you, you guys sow this $1,000 seed, this $5,000 seed, this $10,000 seed. It just really depends on how much money they're trying to spend that weekend. That's all. God can't speak until you give me this money. And people fall for it all the time. I had one in Africa that I was talking to, like, he liked me or whatever. I think we met on Facebook a while ago. And he was prophetic. He would prophesy to me, and then he would turn around and try to make me sow a seed. I didn't give him a dime. What? Then he said he wanted to marry me, try and get over here, and asked me how I felt about a man not working that I'm married to because he's in ministry. You don't know me, because I wish I would. I wish I would marry him. Okay, so some pastors, they want to counsel you. Sorry, my microphone. They want to counsel you in private, right? They want to counsel you in private. Next thing you know, they're trying to touch you or they're saying really appropriate things to you. This has happened to me more than one time. I talk about it in my Wolves and Collars class that is available. The church I grew up in, the organization I grew up in, I aired it out. Okay. So y'all, this is another sign. They shouldn't be touching you. First of all, if they really harp on, well, I need to pastor you in private, but nobody else can be there, that's a sign. That's a sign too. Okay. So I've received prophecies about how, thank you for the follow on Big O. I've received prophecies about how I was going to help people who were literally physically and sexually abused by their leaders in the church. Okay. So don't get mad at me. I'm just fulfilling the word of the Lord. But I need y'all to know that leadership was never meant to drain the sheep. It's meant to feed them. Okay. Let me give you sign number 5. I told y'all this was going to be a lot. For those taking notes, here is sign number 5. No accountability. So you're dealing with the leader who answers to nobody. And when you try to ask questions, they demonize you. They have no oversight, no board. They cannot be corrected. They tell you things like, touch not mine anointed. They use it as a shield, but they're taking that scripture completely out of context. That scripture was not talking about the people concerning the leaders. It was the other way around. But because you don't study to show yourself approved, you don't even realize that you've become a victim of religious witchcraft. They are literally twisting the scriptures to control you. Felicia, listen, I'm not going to tell it. I told my story inside. Y'all have to get my class. I'm not even, the stuff that has happened to me. Where was I, y'all? Okay, religious witchcraft, yes. So you have men and women in pulpits who get away with abuse for decades because congregations silence victims. Y'all, let's be for real. And this happens in our families too. Next week I'm going back. We're going back to family trauma next week. This week I want to deal with trauma and spiritual abuse. You telling me year after year, decade after decade, generation after generation, these same pastors getting these exact same allegations and everybody lying. And I know people will lie on you. People have lied on me, not concerning stuff like this, but people have lied on me. But you telling me everybody lying? We see generations of this stuff. Y'all got to be for real. Because at this point, you are part of the problem. If you just think, oh, they're lying, I don't believe it. It can't be this man. It can't be this woman. They have this platform and they have this many members and this. Don't nobody give a. Who cares? Some of these people that you all idolize, when they get to the gate, God gonna be like, depart from me. I never knew you. Jesus, I had a mega church. I had a mega ministry. I prophesied in your name. I cast out demons in your name. I did all of this. This many people got saved because they heard my sermon. He could be like, depart from me. I never knew you. And y'all out here idolizing them. I'm just a messenger. Let's move on. Where am I at? Because I'm all off my notes. Okay. Narcissistic leaders. Thank you on TikTok for tapping the screen. Narcissistic leaders, they thrive without accountability. And please stay to the end because I have a gift for those that stay until the end, okay? They thrive without accountability. So they condition people to see questions as rebellion. So if you question anything, and I'm not saying you have to be disrespectful, you don't have to be disrespectful. You can ask your questions in a tactful manner, but if they, some of them, they're going to demonize you because they don't want to be questioned at all. It's that spirit in them. Okay? Write this down. If you have a leader, if you have a pastor who cannot be questioned, is your mic still on? Okay, big O, y'all mic still on. If you have a leader or a pastor that cannot be questioned, they shouldn't be followed, period. And you can tell them I said it. You can tag them in this video. You can share it with them because I'm not scared of them. You might be scared of them. I'm not scared of them. Most of them, they don't even fool up with me because they know what's up. They don't even fool up with me. I will never be in the inner circle when it comes to the church because they already know what's up. Okay. So if you're just hopping, I know that was a lot. If you're just hopping in, my name is Renisha Lord. I've been on in 33 minutes already. Okay. My name is Renisha. I'm an inner healing coach. I help high achieving women who look flawless on the outside but are crumbling on the inside, unlock their peace, clarity, and emotional freedom. Today, we're breaking down how to spot spiritual abuse in church leadership. And if you were on the whole time, you know it's not just a black. I gave you proof. You can go listen to the replay on YouTube. It's not just a black church, okay? I've shared signs of control, fear, isolation, exploitation, and a lack of accountability. At the end of this live, I'm going to give you affirmations. Y'all know I try to give affirmations on every live. Affirmations are powerful. You can literally, I use these in I use affirmations, renunciations, whatever you want to call it, in deliverance, and you can start to break free immediately if you just open your mouth and use the authority that God has given you. Okay. So I'm going to give you that at the end. Also, I'm going to tell you how you can go deeper in my wolves and collars class or with my one-on-one coaching. And I have a special gift for those who engage and stay until the end. All right, let's go deeper. Let's talk about what happens when this trauma in the church, this trauma connection in the church, when it's formed. Let's talk about what happens. So you start dealing with shame. Shame, write that down. Victims also, they start to feel like it's their fault. So now it's my fault. You abused me, you controlled me, but now I'm embarrassed and I'm thinking it's my fault. because the leaders have convinced you that you're disobedient, you're rebellious, you're not spiritual enough. So they turn around and put it right back on you. Okay? Shame is the enemy's lock on your voice. It convinces you that being silent is safer than you being free. So you just walking around bound and bitter, sad life to live. So there's shame. Then you start dealing with identity confusion. The constant control and fear, they lead people to believe that they don't have worth. Or if I do have worth, that my worth is going to be tied to how much I can obey my leader, not God, my leader. When he says jump or she says jump, I have to say how high. This is where my worth and my value come from. If I don't obey them, they're going to treat me like scum. Okay? So then the victims, they start wrestling with, am I pleasing God or am I just pleasing my leader? What's happening here? So now you move from shame, you graduate to identity confusion. Okay. After that, you start dealing with emotional paralysis. So the abuse that you faced, now it creates indecision. Now you're freezing up. You can't even make a simple life choice without the approval of your pastor. And don't tell me that I'm making this up because I know what I lived. I know what I've seen in the church I grew up in. You can't make simple decisions without going to the pastor to get their approval first. Sorry, y'all. Without getting their approval first. Abuse, control. Okay. This is called learned helplessness when victims stop believing that their choices even matter. Okay. This is a psychological state. This learned helplessness is a psychological state where an individual becomes passive and gives up even trying to control or change their situation after repeatedly experiencing uncontrollable and negative events. They start to believe that their efforts in it is it's null and void. It makes no sense. There's no need for me to waste my time. It's not going to change. Trauma linked to spiritual abuse. So, why do victims stay? Number one, the fear of God's wrath. Leaders, your leader has weaponized the scriptures against you, talking about touch not my anointed. You're going to lose your blessing. You're going to be cursed. Your children going to die. All of this bull crap. So they convince you to stay instead of leaving because if you leave, you're rebellious. So now you're fearing God. God is going to be mad at you. I know somebody that left an abusive church and literally had a nervous breakdown because they were scared God was mad at them. A whole nervous breakdown. Now I want y'all to tell me, where's God in that? I hope y'all can't see, Lord. I can't. A little split in the skirt. A whole nervous breakdown because they left a warlock and thought God was mad at them. Somebody explain to me how that's God. I'll wait. I'll wait while typing it out. Another reason victims stay, community loss. People that deal with this type of abuse, normally church is their entire world. It's their whole world. Their friends, their family, their support system is the church. So leaving the church will be like spiritual, I can't say that word, the S word, spiritual unaliving themselves. Social unaliving if they leave because church is their whole world. This is a problem. Quanda said, oop, this is a problem. You need help. You need to be rescued. And I'm trying to be sensitive with this subject. I'm trying to be sensitive, but at the same time, I'm very passionate about stuff like this because I just hate, I don't like when people are abused. Anyway, I just don't like it. So I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying not to snap. Okay. Another reason why victims stay, just what I told you all a little while ago, learned helplessness. So after years of being told that you can't hear God without a pastor, baby, you're going to start believing it. Okay? I will watch the replay. Did you discuss how we can tell if this, yeah, you just missed that part, Lila. Yeah, you're going to have to watch the replay. You just missed. I gave y'all 5 signs and went into detail, baby. Yep, I've been on 40 minutes now, but the replay will still be up. All right. So after years of being told that you can't hear God, you're going to believe it. I don't care how strong you think you are. If I tell you something long enough, you're going to believe it. Okay. So just like domestic abuse victims, they stay with their abusers. Psychological chains can feel stronger than physical ones to break. So now you formed a whole trauma bond with your pastor and you don't even realize it. I know we use the people use the term trauma bond incorrectly all the time. A trauma bond, just to break it all the way down and give you a quick definition, when you have a trauma bond with someone, that means this person has abused you in some way, but you can't let them go. Okay, that's the real definition of a trauma bond. So two people who were traumatized that fall in love, that's not necessarily a trauma bond if they're not abusing one another. So some of you, you have a trauma bond with your pastor. Even if you left, you still think God is mad at you. So you have a trauma bond and you need to break it. Now, let's talk about, I told you we were going to talk about how men's abuse gets ignored. This is something else that pisses me off. Men get abused in the church. What's up, Pastor Winfrey? Wait a minute, Winfrey. I probably just messed up your name. Pastor D. I don't even know why I'm trying to say your first name. What's up, Pastor D? So let's talk about how men's abuse gets ignored in the church. Because y'all know I talk about how a lot of these pastors and preachers, what's up? I know I messed up your name. They try to bash the rainbow community, but a lot of them, they're the reason why these men and these boys are rainbow because of what they did to them in the church office. Do not play with me because I'm on one today, okay? So when men and boys report abuse, it's normally dismissed because, well, men are supposed to be tough. Y'all just don't pay them no attention when they come to you. All right? That's a problem. Quanta say you better. That's a problem. Spiritual abuse and the M word that I can't say, spiritual abuse and sexual abuse affects men deeply, but their silence is heavier. Let's talk about the Catholic Church. What kind of scandals? We all know. Let's not fake it. Pastor D, listen, the Catholic Church, we've seen the scandals. I even met one myself back when I first went to college. I don't know if he's changed now, but he turned atheist because of what happened to him as a boy in the Catholic Church. Thousands of boys are abused and then silenced. Let's talk about the Pentecostal church. We're not going to leave you out. The Pentecostal church, charismatic spaces. This includes the Kojic church. The male victims are laughed at or they're shamed for being, Lord, people dropping off now. They're laughed at or they're shamed for being weak. And they just try to silence them, pay them off. Oh, Pastor D, I've been on here 40 minutes, honey, 43 minutes. Trust me, I've covered a lot of different communities, black, white, purple, all of that. Okay. Listen, y'all. They try to silence him, they try to pay him off, or they try to make it seem like crazy. We're gonna start a smear campaign and we're gonna have everybody turn against you and make you seem like you're the crazy one. I'm trying not. How can I address this? Lord, let me move on. We also see this in the Baptist community. I was really about to get in trouble. Oh Lord, the Baptist community. You see it in the Baptist community as well. I'm trying not to get in trouble. I'm gonna say it like this. Some organizations are known for certain things. You can just say the name of the organization, and they're known for certain things. When stuff like that happens, you have to. Pastor D said he walking out. Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming in. Okay, stuff like that. You have to look at the leaders. And there was one organization I was like, I just don't understand why they are known for, why is it so heavy, but people praise, and the leader now, he's not living anymore. I'm like, people praise the leader the way they praise him, but this has to fall back to something. Like it just not, it's not making sense. Like, what's the root of this perversion? And then I saw a picture that went viral, and I saw how the leader that they praised so heavily was into witchcraft. And I say, oh, well, that's one open door. I'm gonna move on though. So male victims, they tend to carry silent trauma. Quanda, baby, I was about to call names. That's why I was like, oh Lord, let me get it together. Male victims, they tend to carry silent trauma, and this often manifests in anger, addiction, or avoidance rather than words. So you have these men that are abused in the church, then they were silenced. After that, if they do end up getting married, guess what happens? They end up abusing their wives, most of the time physically, because they have all this built up anger because of what happened to them in the church, and they were never able to get it out, because men are supposed to be strong. They're supposed to be tough. They should just take it. Okay. Big O, if my phone goes out, because I thought my phone was charged up, y'all just come over to YouTube or send me a DM if you all want my class. I am gonna I got a special gift for those that stay to the end, or hopefully it won't go out. All right, so you have to understand the enemy is going to target the men. He's going to target the men. He's going to target the sons to keep them silent. He's going to target the sons to keep them silent, because if men heal, families heal. Whole communities shift when the man starts to heal. If you all have been following me for a while, Lord have mercy. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb, y'all. I don't even know how to put my phone. Okay, Do Not Disturb. All right. If you've been following me for a while, you've heard me say that when it comes to men, if the men come into alignment, the whole earth has to shift. Period. So we don't just need our men, ladies. We need our men. We need them healed. We need them healthy, and we need them whole. If you are a woman on here that is listening to me, and you're talking about, I don't need no man, and you always found a way to bash men, baby, you need healing. You're traumatized. Okay, tell me you're dealing with trauma without telling me you're dealing with trauma. I'm almost done. So you have to understand, spiritual abuse, it doesn't just scar you emotionally, it reprograms how you see yourself, how you make decisions, and how you even see and relate to God. Okay? Now, the good news is God can rewrite your story. I was about to bust out with Jacqueline's song, but I can't sing. I'm not going to do that to y'all, okay? God can rewrite your story. And today we're going to declare some affirmations over you that's going to help you to start breaking these chains. So, gaslighting and trauma bonding is going to keep people loyal to their abusive leaders. I need you to take an evaluation over your life to see if that fits you. Let me reset the room real quick, and then we're going to get in these affirmations and my class. But my name is Renisha. I'm an inner healing coach. I don't know why it keeps popping up. I'm an inner healing coach. I help high achieving women who look flawless on the outside but are crumbling on the inside find their peace, clarity, and emotional freedom. All right. Today we exposed spiritual abuse in leadership, in church leadership, and not just the Black church. All right. So if you missed earlier, I covered the 5 warning signs and the hidden trauma that it causes. The replay will be on my YouTube channel. Do not log off yet. I have some affirmations from you, and I'm going to tell you how you can keep walking in healing with me if you know that this live, this whole week, everything we're going to address this week, if you know it's for you. All right. So, y'all know I have a list of affirmations. Why? Because the power of life and death lies in your tongue. Let me give you these affirmations. Repeat after me. I am not bound by fear. God has not given me a spirit of confusion, but of power, love, and a sound mind. I will no longer submit to control disguised as covering. I am worthy of love, safety, and truth. No leader has the power, sorry, no leader has the power to silence my voice or steal my destiny. Okay, so we just unpacked how spiritual abuse creates shame, identity confusion, and emotional paralysis, and even silences men and boys. For some of you, you realize that today, this is why you've been stuck. Y'all know I talked about, well, those of you that heard, that have been following me, you know how I talk about when I went through deliverance myself, or one of the times, right? The hardest part of my deliverance session, not the hardest, I'm not going to say the hardest, the most intense part of my deliverance session is when they were delivering me from things I went through in the church that I grew up in. Okay, now I want to scare you all. So I won't go into detail, but that was the most intense part for me. Some of you, this is why you're questioning your worth. It's because of the spiritual abuse that you've dealt with. But you have to understand that God doesn't reveal the pain without giving you some type of pathway to healing. Okay, you don't have to stay stuck in confusion, shame, or fear. Today was your wake up call, and now it's time to go deeper. Let me pull up my class to tell you exactly what you'll get when you grab this. And I have a special offer because I was trying to figure out, like, how can I reward my people for staying live and engaging in all of the things. Let me find it and pull it up. I taught this class in June, so this past summer. I had people reach out to me regarding this class. And again, I'm not trying to pick at anybody, but people older than me that were literally afraid to take my class, but knew they needed it. Now, I don't know if they were afraid, maybe that they were going to end up in there, and then one of their church members or somebody they know was going to go back and tell the pastor. Y'all, I don't know. I don't know. But I taught a class called Wolves and Collars, the Exodus Experience. Okay, I don't know if I can flip the camera and show y'all. We're going to know. I know I can't show y'all in TikTok. I'm on the computer, so I can't show y'all unless y'all go to YouTube. Let me see if this will work. Okay, so it's Wolves and Collars, right? So the class is a little over 3 hours, 3.5 hours. It's over 3.5 hours. And I dive into spiritual abuse, manipulation, counterfeit coverings, religious titles, religious witchcraft, Jezebel, Leviathan. I talk about all of that, you all. All right. So when you grab this, you're going to get the 3.5 hour, it's over 3.5 hours replay, actual deliverance. I'm going to take you through a full deliverance session. Okay, you're going to get the slides, the teaching slides, the walkthroughs that I have with scripture. You get lifetime access, so you can pull this up whenever you want. No, you are not allowed to send this to your family members and your friends. Tell them to sign up for the class. Okay, you cannot give this to, no, you can't do that. You can't put the download in the group chat, but you will have lifetime access. Real testimonies. When I tell you I share, and I ended up breaking down, didn't expect that, but I share my story, my stories, because I share multiple stories. Okay, stories of people I know. I told you about that Jezebel, Leviathan, Python, Mommy Wata. If I'm not mistaken, this is the spirit that the Lord exposed. It was either right before the class, the same day, or the night before. I can't remember. And I had never even heard of Mommy Wata, and it's so crazy because the class went over. So, well, I always like to over deliver when it comes to my classes, but the class ended up going over because of that spirit trying to deliver people from that specific spirit that I had never heard of until God literally spoke it to me at the last minute. Y'all, I'm telling you, you need this class. Okay. So I have the prophetic call, the teaching on how to discern witchcraft and leadership, mass deliverance. Once again, I'm talking about a full blown deliverance, and you have no excuse. Okay, deep healing for those who have been wounded. I'm going to talk to you about how the Lord dealt with me regarding my pastor that I grew up with, how he had me interceding for that man after he spoke death on me, all of this, all of the things. Okay, so this is for you if you've been wounded by pastors, leaders, or controlling churches, if you've experienced guilt, fear, shame, trying to leave a toxic church, if you've had dreams. Some of you left the church already, but you still have dreams, you have visions. regarding the church, the leader, people at the church, people trying to pull you back in. Y'all, some of y'all, they're trying to literally trying to snatch your soul back in. You're being tormented at night. You need to get this class if you are ready to heal and get free. Now, y'all see the price, right? 147. Very, 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 very reasonable. But like I said, I had a special gifts for those that stayed until the end. So if you know you've been wanting this class and you've been waiting, or if you may have just come across me, I'm going to give the people that are on live a special gift. Let me go in here and update it because it's only going to be for a certain amount of time. And Big O, I'm going to have to use my phone as a timer, so I'm going to have to get off Big O. But if you want the class, I will just send me a DM, Big O. Send me a DM. Oh, I know I'm tripping. It's not going to be free. Free. No, 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 no. All right. So for those that are on live that know you need this class, I'm going to reward you all by giving you exclusive pricing. Let me make sure updated for the next 5 minutes. Now, this is not for people who procrastinate. Yes, it's updated. So I took the price down to $97. $147 was already a good price. Big old DM me. Thank you all for joining and staying on, okay, this whole time. But I need to use the phone as a timer. So y'all better DM me real fast if y'all want the link. All right, let me see if I can get in YouTube and drop the link, because y'all know the last time I tried to do this, YouTube would not allow me to comment on my own video. If you're on YouTube, all you have to do is exit out and go under this video, and it's going to show you. Sorry. TikTok, all you got to do is click the link in my bio and you will scroll down until you see it. So it's easier for TikTok, but YouTube, it's in the same video in the description, but let me see if it'll let me drop it in there this time. Thank you for the follows on YouTube too. I see that I got new follows since starting the live. Thank you all so much. I haven't started the timer yet, but y'all better go grab it now. Let me copy the link, go back to YouTube and see if it's gonna let me drop the link in. So those of you that already know what the link is, don't sit here and look at me if you know you want it. You need to go grab it before the timer starts. Everything is about to go dead. My computer, I thought I charged this up. The computer going dead. One phone's going dead. Everything's just going dead. All right, let me see. Y'all, I don't know why it's... Oh, there it is. All right, so for those of you on YouTube, I just dropped the link. You can click it right there. Go get it now. I'm going to give y'all 5 minutes. This is just a special price, an exclusive price for those that stayed on my live the entire time, okay? After 5 minutes, the price is going back up and it's not even high. I could really charge more. All right, so when you're talking about your freedom, I mean, can you put a price on freedom? Let me start my timer, y'all, because I don't want y'all to think I'm playing, because I'm so sincere. Uh-oh, TikTok is saying they're going to end my live. Hold on, let me see. TikTok, if you're on TikTok, just click the link in my bio and it'll take you, just scroll. You'll see my pin site page. Just scroll. What's up, Candace? Scroll until you see my until you see Wolves and Collars, and you'll see the special pricing. All right, so y'all know I'm serious. The timer is going. All right, so y'all have 5 minutes, 4 minutes and 50 seconds to grab that if you want that. Okay. Back it up. So those of you, if you know you dealt with spiritual abuse, it does not matter what religion you're in. It does not matter what color you are. Religious abuse across the board. If you've had controlling leaders, manipulative leaders, you need to get this class. Okay? And it's so sad that church is supposed to be a place where you heal, but for a lot of us, it's a place that we had to leave and then heal because of our experiences in the church. And I am not one who bashes the church. Y'all already know that. Don't come in my face with that foolishness. She bashes the church. No, I love the church. I'm called to the church, but it is what it is. I'm not going to lie. All right, so y'all have 3 minutes, 54 seconds for those that want it at special pricing. The price is going to go back up. It shouldn't take 5 minutes for you to pull out your card and do what you got to do, okay? There's no way for me to unpack everything on what I've been on here an hour. Not me gonna fall. Wait, am I falling back in the chair? I can't unpack everything in an hour, okay? But in Wolves and Collars, I pour out the strategies, the prayers, the insight that helps you move from awareness to freedom and the fact that you are getting full deliverance, y'all. Please hurry up before I change it back. Now, while y'all are doing that, if some of you know that you need more, or you need, or you just prefer more one-on-one coaching, you can apply for my breakthrough pathway. That's the smallest coaching package I have. You get 4 sessions with me over a course of 30 to 45 days. I give you a max of 45 days to complete it. There is no way you can meet with me 4 times within 45 days. Stop playing. Stop playing. You have 45 days, okay? Whatever your story is, you're going to explain to me in the application what you need to work on. And then if I read this and see, okay, this person is serious, then I'll accept it. If I don't think you're serious, you're going to be denied and you're going to be refunded all of your money, even though I have a strict no refund policy. Like for that, I'm not going to accept you if I know that you're not serious or that we wouldn't be a good fit, okay? So that's for those of you that want something private, safe. It's designed for women, men, because men, if you want to, you can sign up, but men just aren't my target audience. But if you're ready to process whatever happened to you, if you're ready to do the work, do the inner healing, if you want to move forward without guilt, then you would go for the one-on-one. You have 1 minute and 49 seconds. Is it showing? For those of you that want the class. Okay. If you know that you need something longer, if you're like, girl, 4 sessions is not going to do me for nothing, you can apply for Breakthrough Mastery. That's 12 sessions. So you'll be working with me for 6 months. I give you 6 months. I used to give you a year, but you don't procrastinate anymore. Why do you need a whole year? You don't. You don't need a whole year to get your life together. You don't. So if you need something more, you're going to do the 12 sessions. You're going to get that done in 6 months. Okay. So I need you to know while we're wrapping up, and I'm waiting for the timer to go off, God never called leaders to enslave you. He does not want you to be a slave. He called you to freedom. I don't care what they say, okay? And today you're taking your first step towards it. So don't just stop here. Take the next step, whether it's Wolves and Collars, which is literally going back up to regular price in 45 seconds, or the one-on-one session. You have to give yourself permission to heal, okay? Your healing should not be optional. Your freedom shouldn't be non-negotiable. I'm trying to go back so I can change the price back because I'm ready, okay? Your freedom is not negotiable and your voice is not disposable. It's time to step into what God really has for you. Stop playing. The year is almost out and some of y'all still playing. I don't understand. So we're going to be here all week. 9, 6, 3, 2, 1. All right, and that's my time. So the price is going back up. Shout out to everyone who took advantage of that. If you are watching the replay and you like, man, I wish I was on so I could get the discounted price, it's still exclusive. The exclusive pricing. It's still at a very, very, very good rate for what you're going to get. So just grab it. And if you're one that procrastinates or missed out, or you just feel like Renisha isn't worth it, why do I have to pay? Why do I have to pay but just I can just watch her for free. Well, you be stuck then. It is what it is. I don't deal with people that I have to convince what my worth is. If you don't know what my worth is, my value is, if you don't see the value in my content, I'm sorry, if you don't see the value in my content, baby, that's a you problem. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Okay, so let me tell y'all what we're talking about for the rest of, and you're welcome to anyone that got it. Let me tell you what we're talking about the rest of the week because y'all know I got to put it up. Or at least the 2 days. I think I only have 2 days set up so far. 3 days? Because I pushed a day back. I don't even think I have the full week set up yet. But everything is going to be linking spiritual trauma in the church. Okay? Clock it. All right, live. So today we talked about how to spot spiritual abuse in leadership. Tomorrow, which is October 1st, that is crazy. It's almost 2026. And some of y'all still stuck. Anyway, tomorrow we're talking about spiritual abuse in the church exposed when image protects predators. So we're going to talk about pulpit predators. I'm going to be on the pastors real hard and heavy tomorrow. And then I think, yeah, and then Thursday, because Thursday was supposed to be Wednesday, but I pushed it back. So Thursday we're talking about prophecy or spiritual psychosis. And I'm going to give you 7 signs of spiritual psychosis and how to break free from that. Y'all know what's crazy? Y'all know the whole rapture scare that was viral last week. Y'all, why is there a video going out saying the same man that started that has now come out with a new date? And now people are jumping on that bandwagon saying, oh, we were going by the wrong calendar. The rapture is actually going to happen next week, October, whatever. Prophecy or spiritual psychosis. So that's what we're going to deal with. I'm tired of talking. I feel like I've been talking way too long. My devices are going dead. TikTok, love you. Thank you for being here, exiting. YouTube, I pray that you all took advantage of the exclusive pricing for those that were on live. If you didn't, I mean, you can still go grab it. It's totally worth it. But make sure you turn your notifications on. Make sure you join me here tomorrow with YouTube. I don't know why you can turn your notifications on and them ninjas still will not notify you, but make sure you subscribe anyway. Turn your notifications on. Remember, God never called you to be a slave. He only wants you to be a slave for him. So he definitely doesn't want you to be a slave to anybody else. Okay, he called you to freedom, period. And today you've taken the first step toward it. I love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm tired of talking. My throat dry. I'm out.